emancipates the aspect, and emancipates the aspect of the Jnana Yoga from the Kumaras and the Rishis, who are the Karma Yogis, and one and only Narad Muni is our leader in Bhakti Yoga. So Pulaha is the Rishi who was born from Brahma's navel, and Pulaha was married. Most of them, you will see, most of these 9 progenis who represent Karma Yoga in this context is married to the daughters of Kardama Muni. So here in this case, Pulaha Rishi was married to Kardama Muni's daughter Gati, and Kardama Muni's son is the Supreme Personality of God himself, who is Kapil Muni, and their children were Karma Shrestha, Varyan, and Sahasrishu. Then from the Brahma's ears, Pulastya Muni was born, and from the lineage of Pulastya Muni, our Ravan, Vibhishan, they were born. Pulastya's son is Agastya, and he was a very powerful personality. We'll go a little bit about Agastya Muni. And Pulastya Muni's son is Agastya Muni, and Agastya Muni's son is Vishrava, and Vishrava married twice, and Vishrava Muni's one wife is Idvida, and her son is Kuver, and the other wife is Keshini of Vishrava, and Keshini's kids were Ravana, Kumbhakarna, and Vibhishana. So as you can see, these personalities are very, very, very powerful. They shaped the subsequent Vedic generation, and we have learned a lot from these personalities. So Pulastya Muni, once, speaking of Ravana, once there was a person called Sahasrabahu. Sahasrabahu was actually the disciple of Dattatreya. Dattatreya is also one of the avatars of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We went through the 26 Leela avatars in the prior chapter. So once Sahasrabahu, after offering penances to Dattatreya, received the benediction that he will have 1,000 hands. And Sahasrabahu, in comparison to Sahasrabahu, Ravana is nothing actually. So Sahasrabahu was once on the banks of river Narmada, and through his 1,000 hands, he stopped the waves of Narmada, and he moved the waves of Narmada in the opposite direction. And when this was going on, Ravana's artillery was nearby. So Ravana saw that Narmada is flowing the other direction. So Ravana came and he created a fight. And within no time, just like a hunter catches a monkey with no energy, Sahasrabahu captured Ravana. And Ravana, as you know, is full of ahankar. So, and he took, Sahasrabahu took Ravana into a captive, into a cage. And when this news spread, Pulastya Muni recognized that from his generation, Ravana is under captive. And when he found that, he came to request Sahasrabahu to release. Ravana has so much of ego because once when he was fighting with Indra, Indra's Vahana, Airavat, attacked Ravana's chest, and Airavat's tusk was broken, and Ravana got very puffed up because of that. So however high he may be puffed up, but as you can see, he had no match for Sahasrabahu. So ahankar was something when we don't know where to take up the battle. We have to choose our battles. We can't really, keep fighting all the time, all our lives. So Ravana was hit big time by Sahasrabahu. And finally, Pulastya Muni had to come and request for his release. So Ravana was actually fought with the Lord, but when you think about Kamsa, he couldn't even fight with the Lord. He got the heart attack when Krishna went to pound on him in the wrestling arena. He just couldn't fight. So if you think about, the power of Kamsa, the power of Ravana, they're nothing in comparison to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But look at how puffed up they were. So it is very important for us to choose our own battle, first thing, and not have ahankar in our thought process. So finally, Pulastya Muni came and helped out. And when you talk about fighting with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hiranyaksha in the fight in the ocean, he fought with the Lord for a long time, for months. And it is mentioned in the scriptures, Lord really enjoyed a good fight with Hiranyaksha. With all these other persons, they have no power to really have the mettle to fight with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when Pulastya Muni requested Sahasrabahu, he released Ravana. And Agastya Muni's next life, he became the son of Mitra and Varun and was born from a matka, from a kumbha. And he used to drink the entire ocean. There used to be a demon who used to eat all the rishis in the night and used to hide in the daytime. So they were not finding it. So Agastya Muni in his next life drank the entire ocean so that they could pinpoint where the demons are, and eventually they caught them. So once upon a time, there was two demons named Vatapi and Atapi, and they used to call rishis posing as sadhus. They used to, so Vatapi used to convert Atapi into food, and when rishis come and they offer him food as sadhus, he would have Atapi get eaten because he would use his mystic powers to change Atapi into food. And after the rishis used to eat, Vatapi used to call Atapi, you come out, come out. And Atapi would come out, killing all these rishis. And this was going on for quite some time. So Agastya Muni, who is a descendant of Pulastya Rishi, was invited once by Atapi and Vatapi. So same thing happened. Atapi was given as food to Agastya Muni. And after Agastya Muni had his food as offering, Vatapi said, Atapi, come out. But in the meantime, Agastya Muni was so powerful, he digested Atapi in no time. And when Atapi was asked to come out, there was no Atapi left. And finally, Agastya Muni, just by showering some wind from his mouth, he could kill Vatapi. So these are some of the powerful pastimes we have to recognize, that these personalities have emanated from Brahmaji's various different organs and how powerful they were in shaping the subsequent Vedic generation. So then there is Angira and Atri. So Angira was born from Brahma's mouth, as we discussed in 24. And he was married to Kardama Muni's another daughter called Shraddha. And his son was Brihaspati. So Angira Muni's son is Brihaspati, who is the Kulguru of the Devatas. So if you want to put a picture or a person in all this lineage, in your ancestry.com kind of mindset, you know how powerful these people were. So Brihaspati was the son of Angira Muni. And Angira Muni's name is, one Veda is named after Angira Muni, and that is the Atharva Veda. And he is often offered oblations. So Atharva Angirasa. That means one Veda, Atharva Veda, is named purely after Angira Rishi. So very glorified personalities. And he also received principles of bhakti from Narad Muni. So these are extremely powerful personalities. If we really want to appreciate bhakti and the karma yoga they ended up shaping, Angira Rishi is very, very powerful. Then the Atri Rishi, he was born from Brahmaji's eyes, as 24 suggests. And he was married to Mata Anusya, who was full of character. Mata Anusya is Satibrata. He is Patibrata, and he had maintained Sati. And once when she called out to the Lord, both Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwar appeared, because he was very pious. She was very pious. And through the prayers, when they appeared, and through the reception, eventually from Brahma, who appeared with in front of Anusya, son Som was born, and from Mahesh, Durvasha was born. Durvasha, you all know about the anger of Durvasha. From Anusya and Mahesh, Durvasa was born, and from Vishnu, the Leela avatar, Dattatreya was born, who was the Yogacharya of Sahasrabahu we spoke about. So if you want to put some name into the context, this is the Rishi who shaped some of these personalities we just discussed about, as to how Anusya. There is also another fascinating story about Anusya. We don't have time for it, about how Anusya's fame in terms of being a pious wife was spread by Narad Muni, and how the wives of Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar became envious, and how eventually it was all settled. That's for a different day. But if you really want to discuss or introduce yourself to Mata Anusya, that is a wonderful pastime to realize and meditate in a different time. You can read by yourself, hopefully. So going to 25, as you can see, Dharma was born from the chest or the breast or the heart of Brahma. So which is the focus, and what Srila Prabhupada is saying here, in truest form, Dharma is nothing but love for Godhead, which is nothing but bhakti. And Srila Prabhupada is saying, and also this verse is saying, Dharma's son is Naranarayana. So whenever they say, there are some personalities, because of those good personalities, this entire world is surviving. He is the Naranarayan, actually, because of whom Dharma. And where there is no Dharma, there is no Bhagavan. So wherever there is no religiosity, when there is anarchy, then there is no Lord, there is no God. So the only way, what all these points are saying, is actually Dharma is nothing but love for Godhead. And if the love for Godhead doesn't exist, as chest is the frontal portion of Brahma, where there is a lot of focus given, where there is a lot of importance given. From there, Dharma, his son Dharma, was born. And Adharma was born from the back of Brahmaji. And Adharma's wife is Mrisha. And Adharma and Mishra's son is Mrityu, which is death. And that's where Srila Prabhupada has quoted many times, devotees don't die, they disappear. And Krishna makes it very clear in 4.9 about Tikta Deham Punarjanma. That means devotees don't die. The non-devotees, they are ferociously afraid of death. And death has come from the back of Brahma, and Adharma's son is Mrityu, which is none other than death personified. So as Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, Tvakta Deham Punarjanmaneti, that means devotees, they don't die, they disappear to reappear again in some other place because of transmigration. But the non-devotees, every time they are afraid, they are fearful about death. They will be in the subconscious mind talking about, oh, I have got into the 50+ stage, and I've got into the 60+ stage, and they will be constantly focusing on the end without really worried or talking about the importance of devotional service in their life. So devotees are not afraid of death, but non-devotees are very fearful of Mrityu, which is the son of Adharma, who is the son of Brahmaji. So these personalities are very significant. Non-devotees are very afraid of death. So going back to, there's hardly any time left, going back to this very, very powerful verse, these personalities who are shaping our subsequent pastimes in participating, as you can see, these personalities have mentioned some very critical things. As you can see, the ahankar, which some of these subsequent progenies have shown, is not beneficial for anyone. We should all shed ahankar in whatever form or shape. And the second thing which comes out is always have the love for Godhead, so that dharma prevails all the time. And another thing which really stood out is how we should choose our battles and not get ahankar choose its battle. And that's the reason why you see Ravana is so powerful, but in front of Sahasrabahu, he was just nothing. Kamsa was just nothing in front of little Krishna. His age was very small. Kamsa was very powerful, but in front of the Lord, he was insignificant. So the significance and insignificance of us and the Supreme respectively is very important for us to recognize that we are insignificant and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is significant. And if we really, there is no way we could outplay the Supreme. The only way we could take care is by having a love for Godhead. So with that, like to end here. Thank you for your attention. Any comments or questions, we can have it in the WhatsApp group. Thank you for your attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you very much. Okay. I'd like to wish you all a safe and Krishna conscious day and week ahead. And we'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Narsingha,
Jai Narsingha, Shri Narsingha, Jai Narsingha Deva, Praladesha, Jai Padma, Mukha Padma Bringa. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu Jwalantam Sarvatamukham Narsingham Bhishanam Bhadram Mrityum Mrityum Namamiham.
Nrsimha Bhagwan ki jai.
Jai.
Ki
Jai.
Let us offer our humble obeisances in the pursuit of all the assembled Vaishnavas.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Vaishnavinda ki jai.
Jai.
Granthar Srimad Bhagavatam
की जय
Jai.
ki jai.
जय
Mahaprabhunde.
Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.